Hey, RetconRaider here, with special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Dragon Matrix 7, Mathew Smith, Revenant, Alois, Drakiith, Eerie V23, Egg, EgonAlter, Emile, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Kazorm, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, let's get started. And welcome back to Pathfinder Through the Ashes. As today, we put some grave concerns to rest. We finally tracked down the Corpse Snatcher, the foul necromancer who seems to be the source of the local cemetery plot. And just our luck, he is currently posturing and pontificating right in front of a stilted statue, one that is ready to topple with the assistance of some tools. That should hopefully squish him dead, allowing us to avoid a potentially difficult fight, or at least making a difficult fight slightly less difficult.
Please, focus.
We're in too deep to back out now, so let's see how this goes. Yeah, I'd say on a scale of 1 to 10, that man is dead. Which nets us less than I'd really hoped for. I was hoping for a more permanent magic item, but we can certainly put this stuff to good use. Especially, I think, those scrolls of Animate Dead. Being able to conjure up that kind of combat fodder would definitely give us an edge in upcoming battles. A particular Walking Dead warlord springs to mind. And while not particularly exciting, that heavy crossbow is a slight upgrade to our current arsenal. I will admit, I'm actually a little surprised they didn't have a bunch of filler mobs jump out of that green circle right after we initiated the statue toppling. You know, so we'd still have a fight even after the necromancer was dead. That's a slight change of pace from what we've gotten used to with the previous encounters. A lot of them have involved enemies just literally springing out of the woodwork or from beneath the cobblestones, as it were. A little weird they'd have a fight like this that you could actually completely avoid. Though, to be fair, it did cost us tools and a rope. Yeah, I guess that's it. Moving on. Oh, okay. Right, yeah. I bet if we had come in that way before the necromancer died, he would have automatically spotted us coming, and that would have triggered a massive fight with summons and everything. I wonder if the same thing would have happened if we had gone through that side route. I'm not sure if that was just to avoid the fight near the wagon, or would have also let us sneak up behind him. Though, a bit of a moot point now. I mean, he clearly had no dead man switch failsafe set up. So we are free to proceed.
I'm always ready.
I'm always ready.
I'll take care of it.
I'll take care of it. That's actually a problem I end up running into with half these series I do. I give the main character a goofy voice that I can't possibly maintain for 20, 30, 50 plus episodes.
I serve the Crusades. Strange
I know
as it
I can help.
sounds.
I'm sorry, can everyone stop talking, please? I'm trying to have a conversation here. A one-sided conversation with the viewers, the ephemeral beings lurking just beyond the screen. Sorry, just trying to make sure I don't do anything goofy there. But I think we're good. Let's push up.
Using clever tactics now.
We'll hold off on the animate dead until the surprise round.
Oh ho ho, we're in for it now. See the fancy armor that corpse is wearing? That's a local celebrity. One of the great generals of yore. And something's telling me he didn't rise from the grave to give us a tour of his favorite taverns. Our goose is cooked.
Record points at the tarnished sword adorning the cadaver's imposing breastplate. Why didn't this trigger last time we were here? So what do we do?
I swore an oath to protect my companions, so leave this to me. I do not know how to explain it. I just sense I will be able to overpower him with my magic. I am quite sure of it.
Sentry clenches his fists until his knuckles turn white and regards you with an unusually solemn look.
Gut instinct isn't gonna cut it. We need a plan that is clear and foolproof. And I just happen to have one.
Record glares at him with disdain. Alright, let's not dismiss any potential plans right off the cuff here. What's your plan, Record?
We will immobilize him, and then we'll swiftly finish him off. They left a winch with a loaded platform up there. Lead the cadaver straight under the load. I'll cut the ropes. The platform will crush him, and you will finish him off.
Record points at the unfinished roof of the chapel. Could potentially work, but trying to lure an enemy somewhere in combat is kind of a pain. And you, Sentry? You think you can do this on your own?
What? Of course not. I'm going to need help. Listen, I will engage him on my own and freeze him. From the end of his hair to the tips of his toes. Yep. Don't you worry. I know what I'm doing. Well, almost. I've never frozen any fellow quite that big, but most of my enemies are larger than me, and so far I've always come out on top, that I have. So, what was I talking about? Oh, yes, I can do it. I'm sure I can. I feel it in my gut, you see. So once the dead man is frozen stiff, run up and lay into him with everything you've got. I swear on my collection of neckties, this is how victories are made.
Well, I mean, that sounds absurd, but then again, Sentry is shown freezing someone solid in the key art for the DLC. It's a little meta, but that might actually be a reference to this specific event. And if he can actually freeze this guy solid, that would be a lot easier than trying to lure it beneath a hanging pile of crates or whatever. I think I know what we should do.
Then speak.
All right, Sentry. Against my better judgment, I'll leave this to you.
Got it! I will not fail you. Stay here and watch. Once he starts going from dead man to snowman, barge in and hit him with all you've got. Whack!
The gnome confidently juts out his chin and gently touches the eye hidden under the bandage. Count on me! I'm going to give him the chills!
Let me handle them.
Wow, icy prison. Which this guy is immune to. And now Sentry is taking a nap. Yeah, that didn't work out at all the way I thought it would.
Don't hold back!
Man, so not only did we lose the element of surprise, but now our sorcerer is in a coma, and we are not able to conjure up a bunch of cannon fodder to run interference for us. This is rough. I guess that's what we get for believing in Sentry. Duly noted. Through the ashes. Message received.
I got this.
Honestly, I think we're probably going to die here, but, you know, we'll give it a shot. We'll go down swinging. At least until someone dies, because we cannot come back from that.
I've got you! Die! This is not the end.
You sure about that, Kanos? Once Sentry's back in, we might be able to turn this around.
Strike!
You're not a threat. You're an obstacle.
Ow. Okay, and Sentry's out. Cool. But he's not dead, so there's that.
You should have run!
Yeah, tell me about it.
Damn you!
This will hurt!
Nice, nice. We've actually got him halfway down. Are zombies immune to stun? Yes, they are. Of course they are. Why wouldn't they be? Much like paralysis. But at least I had the good sense to check beforehand. Unlike a certain sword-skewered sorcerer. We are now officially past halfway there.
Could this happen?
Are you still here?
He is indeed. Aiden, kinda hard to miss. Well, actually, incredibly easy to miss, which is a big part of the problem here. And we are pretty much done.
It's you or me.
Good guys always win.
I admire your optimism, Aiden, but I don't think that's true. Actually, can we just kite this guy? Huh. Yeah, he can't seem to move fast enough to catch up with us and get a swing in.
I got this.
Wow. Wow. If I'd realized we could just kite him to death, I would have done that instead. But hey, no harm done. Nothing permanent anyway. I guess. DOT should hopefully drop him. Yes, okay, we're good. What have you just... Record looks at the gnome with suspicion, not bothering to sheath his weapon. I've met plenty of spellcasters, and none of them could pull off a trick like that. What, failing to cast a spell and then immediately falling into a coma? Yeah, that's a pretty unique trick. Sentry, you alive over there? I am. Except I am feeling a little weird. My body is like a sack of potatoes. A battered sack of potatoes. A sack of potatoes battered by trolls. Sentry does look pale. That's magic for you. It can really sap your strength. No need to worry, though. I'll take a short break and then return to doing my best to protect you. You should think before you act. Even I understand how taxing such a spell can be. And I'm not exactly a wizard savant. Totally worth it. Everybody's in one piece and no one got hurt. Relatively speaking. That's what matters to me. Sentry nods happily to himself and then to you, and smiles faintly. So, what was that exactly? Sentry shrugs and makes a dismissive gesture. What about it? Magic is magic. Ice, cold, blizzard, whoosh. I've been doing it all my life. Well, almost. I just think about something, then I imagine the result, and boom. Magic happens. It's no big deal. Why are you so worried? Everything went splendidly. We won. Sentry is examining the tips of his boots with great concentration, for the first time not looking you in the eye. It doesn't seem that the gnome is lying, but he is obviously not telling you the whole truth. It is really weird that everyone's acting like his trick worked when it definitively did not. Sentry. Oh, fine. Sentry tentatively tugs at his sleeves. No secrets between friends, right? The thing is, I'm not always in control of my powers. I do not even understand them fully. That's how I am. I was born without them, then lived without them, and suddenly, click. Something about me changed. I learned how to command cold, make icicles out of thin air. So there, that's how it is. That's why I snuck into the mage's crypt, to make sense of myself. He was an expert in all things pertaining to the strange awakening of power. I learned a thing or two and figured out something important. The magic is always at hand when it's needed most. Just like today. I helped you, didn't I? Yes, I did. I just thought about what I wanted, and froze the brute solid. The magic simply took shape on its own. That's how it is, I swear on my shiny buttons. And nothing went wrong, if I may add. Oh, really? Is that why we're all lying in a bloody, tangled heap right now? Okay, so clearly the spell was supposed to work. They just somehow overlooked the fact that the spell he was trying to cast inflicted a condition the zombie was innately immune to, which is a pretty huge oversight to make for a central story point, but whatever. It could have gone wrong. Record angrily snaps his whip-like tail. What if you lost control? What if you froze us all? You should have mentioned that before. Well, excuse me. This isn't exactly a subject for casual conversation. For the first time, it looks like the gnome is genuinely angry with Record. Hello, my name is Sendramel. Let me tell you my entire life story. What, do you not enjoy the view from this hill? I happen to be of the opinion that dead snappers spice up small talk. Sentry turns serious and crosses his arms in bitter defiance. Besides, I did tell everyone to keep well away to avoid getting hurt. I am not a complete fool, you know. What else did you learn from those books? A little bit of everything. Apparently the magic can wake up on its own, or it may need a little nudge from somebody. Except nobody nudged me, nope. Although I don't know for sure. For example, I'm really good with all things cold. If the books are to be believed, it's my talent, a great gift, or perhaps a divine blessing, or even a curse. But this is a topic for a separate conversation, and we have people that need saving. Very well, but we will discuss this at a later time. I'm right behind you. Oh boy, that was an ordeal. But we're still alive, so I can't really complain, aside from the obvious mishap with the icy prison. But, like I said, I don't think that event would trigger if we didn't go that route anyway, and there's no way that event would work because the zombie was immune to paralysis. So, given that everyone miraculously survived, I think we'll just roll with it. I think we've got enough healing to more or less recover from it anyway. Especially with a new level in the queue. Ooh, and some full plate. I mean, the Masterwork Greatsword is just sales fodder, but I know exactly what we're doing with that full plate. Alright, folks. We're obviously in pretty sorry shape right now, and there's no telling if there's more fights ahead. I imagine there must be. We still haven't found that scroll for Brody. So let's hit the pause button real quick. I'll take care of our level ups and our healing off screen, and then we'll do a quick little recap just to show the highlights. And then we'll push on. Alright, so let's have a look here. First things first, we're not planning any fancy pants multi-classing, so of course, Grim will continue the path of the Student of Stone, which nets him +1 base attack, +1 willpower, and the Strength of Stone class feature, which essentially just grants a flat +1 to hit, +1 to damage, and +1 on various other combat checks. We also pick up our key pool, though we can't really do much with it just yet. I believe at the moment that's primarily used to cut through damage reduction, as if we were attacking with magic weapons. And then, although they don't show it here for some reason, we can also burn off key to gain an extra attack in a round. Beyond that, not much else for Grim. Skills are skills. I do wish, again, that I had distributed these a bit better, but that would have required knowing what Record and Sendry skills were going to be in advance, and I was avoiding that. But we'll make do. And then as for our feat, we are immediately beelining for pummeling style, which I have had my heart set on since I first made this character. Right now, that doesn't get us much. It basically just makes it slightly easier for us to bypass damage reduction. But it is also a prerequisite for pummeling Bully and pummeling Charge, both of which I'd like to pick up in the future. Though I suppose that will largely depend on whether we end up playing Through the Ashes 2 or not. We'll see. And that's it for Grim. Up next, we've got Sir Brown, who of course takes his 3rd level in War Priest. Right off the bat, that nets him +1 base attack and +1 reflex, as well as 2 feat slots. 1 general and 1 combat. Once again, skills are skills. A bit wonky, but fine. And then for our 2 feats, I was thinking we'd go 1 offensive with Piranha Strike, minor hit to accuracy in exchange for scaling damage boost, and Shield Focus, which nets us an extra +1 AC and acts as a prereq for possibly Missile Shield? That's a maybe, but not something we have to decide right now. And that's it for Brown, except we're also tossing him in that full plate. I would have done that right when we picked it up, but I had to make sure he had the actual proficiency for it. And it turns out he does, so that bumps his AC way up. He is now the tankiest character in the party. After that, we've got Kanos, who picks up his 3rd level of Drovier, which nets him +1 base attack, +1 reflex, an extra feat slot, and access to 2nd level druid spells, which is a huge get for us. That gives us access to lesser restoration. Though I am kind of hoping we're getting towards the end of the babysitting portion of our adventure. Skills are skills, no big deal. And then for our feat, I'll admit I was kind of tempted to go Razor Tusk just for the extra attack. But given how much enemies are just annihilating us right now, I took a page out of Brown's book and went Shield Focus instead. Again, +1 AC to start, but also opens up Missile Shield as an option if we decide to go that route. And that's it for Kanos, except for his new spell slots. And given that we've got 2, I'm thinking we'll go Barkskin in 1, which is a fantastic defense buff, and Lesser Restore in the other, for the aforementioned reason of keeping the tagalongs alive. Though it's all kind of a moot point for now, until we rest. Oh, which brings us to Gaia. Technically an extension of Kanos, but don't tell her that. Level 3 in Bully nets her +1 base attack and +1 will, as well as evasion. Skills are skills. Points go into stealth and perception. And then for her feat, we are going right for weapon focus bite. That'll not only help her land hits more consistently, but will also make her biting trip slightly more effective. And that's it for Gaia. Next we've got Record, our rugged rogue. He picks up his 3rd level in generic rogue, which pulls him +1 base attack, +1 will, and +1 fortitude, as well as an extra die of sneak attack, always welcome. Plus danger sense, not a huge deal, but potentially useful. And finesse training, which we really haven't built him for, so that is slightly less useful. Skills are already pretty much set, not much to say there. And then for our feat slot. I debated on this one a bit, but ultimately I decided we'd go with Weapon Focus Longbow. The crossbow is easier to land crits with, but I feel like we get slightly more mileage out of committing to the longbow. Then again, that is really kind of a shot in the dark, because it is ultimately going to come down to what kind of range weapons we end up finding. If we find a great crossbow, then I'm going to feel very silly. After that, we've got finesse training, not a huge deal given how much we're leaning into the range angle. But we do use daggers from time to time, so we'll go with that. And that's it for Record. A pretty solid level up for him all around. And that brings us to Aiden, our rough and tumble rock master. He picks up his 3rd level in Kineticist, that nets him +1 base, +1 will, and a new infusion, as well as Overwhelming Power. Currently a flat +1 to hit and damage with all kinetic blasts. Though of course that does come at the cost of actually being able to use Elemental Overflow. Which, given what we've seen of this DLC for, I'm actually perfectly fine with. Given that they tightly control just how often you can actually rest. And finally, but certainly not least, we also pick up an extra die of damage for our kinetic blasts. After that, pretty much what you'd expect. Skills are skills. And our feat slot, of course, goes to Precise Shot. It has to. And our infusion, given that we only have 2 options to choose from, will of course be Extended Range. That'll make things slightly easier for us moving forward, because now, in theory, Aiden can trigger combat from 20 feet farther away. Which brings us to Sentry, the mighty sorcerer who proved pivotal in our recent battle versus the zombie warlord. As if he weren't already powerful enough, he picks up his 3rd level in Sorcerer Seeker, which nets him +1 base attack, +1 reflex, and Magic Missile, which he already has, so that's really kind of a waste. Gotta say, I'm not really crazy about his build thus far. Skills are skills. Again, no big deal here, especially since all of his skills are redundant. Though that's not really any fault of his own, I suppose. That's just how we built our party. And for his feat, given that he invested his 1st level slot into Spell Focus Conjuration, I'm thinking we'll grab Augment Summoning. I'm not sure if that'll actually extend to those Animate Dead scrolls we picked up. But that's fine, because for his new spell, we'll go ahead and pick up Summon Monster 1 as well. Obviously not the same sort of game changer that Grease is, but a well-placed summon can still make a difference, especially when you can drop it right behind enemy lines to keep spellcasters or other backliners busy. And that is it. Those are my somewhat impulsive picks for level 3. I feel like they're fairly solid, but really only planning around the fact that we're topping out at level 5 for this current DLC. In theory, I guess we could plan a bit more long-term, given that there is going to be a sequel DLC that pushes up to level 10. As always, comments, feedback, both welcome. If anyone has any suggestions about how we might do things slightly differently or slightly more effectively, I'm all ears. But for now, we push on as we are. We've still got about 20 minutes on the clock, so that should be enough time for us to do a little scrolling. Alright, so first things first, let's grab that unattended loot. Hey, bracers of armor. Only +1, but that's still a nice bump. I would give that to Grim, but he's still got mage armor running, so for now, we will toss those to Sendry. Oh, what's that? Hey lads, get out here on the double! Someone's rummaging through our stuff! Silly me, thinking there'd be easy loot just lying around. Barbarian. This actually isn't that bad, as long as they're coming out one at a time.
I got this. Yeah.
Let's conjure up a distraction.
Don't hold back!
And a bard bandit. Understandable. Bards do love their loot. Let's focus down the brawler. Nice. Doggo, what happened?
Strike!
Brawler's out. No thanks to the dog. Oh, and there goes the bard. Huh, that actually went pretty smoothly. A refreshing change of pace from our usual slapdash disasters. And nothing notable as far as loot goes. So, moving on.
One with the shadows.
Here lies Grimnir Ironhead, who gave his life for the Queen and Mendev, but promised to return in their true hour of need. I'm gonna guess that's the guy we took down just down the street. And, you know, to be fair, while he did vow to return in the hour of need, he didn't specify which side he'd be fighting for, so kudos. Still a man of his word. Good for him. More bandits. And this might be a good place for a grease. Yeah, let's do it. We'll drop a grease right on top of them. Pelt them with bolts while they're slip-sliding away. Hold. And... there. Grave Robber's down. Focus on the caster.
Damn you! Are you still here?
Let's bring Gaia up around the side. That should keep the archer busy. And down goes the conjurer. Lovely.
Good guys always win.
You should have run!
9 damage on record. Grave Robber's in. Oh, and Archer is out. Now for this guy.
This will hurt!
Stun failed. Still a hit, though. Whoa, whoa. Hey now. Easy there, buddy.
I got this.
Barbarian's out. And switching back off to range. Nice.
I'll protect you from all harm.
Okay, we'll take that. I mean, Record got totally wrecked, but it could have certainly been worse. Ring of Sharp Strike. Yeah, we know that from the main campaign. Not exactly a game changer or anything, but certainly can't hurt. We'll slap that on record.
The mission must be carried out.
It's time to act!
It's time to act! It's like a line that Calculon would say right before the cameras start rolling.
All this waiting bores me. We'll win this.
We'll save
one way or
everyone.
the other.
No doubt about it.
Okay, so what's that get us? More sales fodder. Oh, and a headband of charisma. We will take it. That's a good fit for Sindri or Aiden, but I feel like Aiden would get better mileage out of it. I think. I'll have to double check how his charisma modifier interacts with his kineticist stuff. But for now, we move. We have yet to find our scroll. It's got to be around here somewhere. Oh, hold. I know this trick. We've got zombies underground. And there we go. Yeah, that does make me feel slightly better about that other encounter. They do give you some forewarning. Gaia, good girl. Lovely, lovely. Ouch.
You're going down! Don't hold back!
Man, so level 3 was a pretty huge power boost for us. But we don't want to get overconfident. You just know there's something even nastier right around the corner. Also, we have yet to encounter a single functional angel statue. Not a big deal at this point, given that we're right on the cusp of finishing the graveyard, but it is peculiar, given that Freda specifically mentioned them. Maybe we'll find one in here. This is clearly setting us up for a boss fight. Master Wizard, I brought some of my friends. Do you mind if we borrow a certain something? Thanks, Sindri. The element of surprise is overrated anyway. He won't mind. He's dead. Yeah, somehow I doubt that record, but let's see. Well, you were half right. Okay, we're just gonna blitzkrieg this guy. I'm assuming there will be ads, but he's our priority target.
This will be quick!
You're not a threat. You're an obstacle.
Huh. No ads yet. Web? That's fine. All of our backliners are within shooting range.
Let's hear you cry!
Oh, wow. This guy was a brick, but he went down easy. I'm kind of amazed they didn't have ads in that fight. It's just really weird to see a solo spellcaster without ablative mooks running interference. Wand of Acid Arrow. Yes, please. Plus some gold. And a Ring of Protection +1. Fantastic. The crypt looks undisturbed. It would appear the late mage's wards kept the marauders at bay. Well, good for him. The Legend of Magic Bones. Religious beliefs of the giants of old Sarkaris. Huh. There's our scroll. So, Brody is saved. Hurrah! And that book we've definitely seen before. Same with that one. I wonder if the book we picked up off the ground is the one Sendry was reading. We'll check that out next time. It might give us some decent insight into Sendry's character, whatever's going on with him. But for now, we're out of time, so this feels like a good place to call it. We'll hit the pause button for now. I'll take stock of our guys, though we seem to be in pretty good shape at a glance. And we will pick up here next time, as we cure Brody and push on out of the graveyard, into what I imagine is the final map of the DLC. But I guess we'll find out. See you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, you can find out more about the game and its DLC by visiting the official websites. And if you'd like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things, or maybe even check out the Patreon, the YouTube memberships, or the Nexus GG page. Links are in the description.
It's time to act!